the up-leveling of their mindset to say, I could still be a solopreneur, for example. We've lots of people who are consultants and coaches, and I don't need to run a huge team, but I can free myself to grow the business more and do the things I really love to do.
You also mentioned that you kind of built this business after having a baby as well at the same time, finding those high quality sort of virtual assistants. So tell us a bit more about sort of that story. How did that unfold?
Yeah, look, actually, I was a business coach. Look, I was in corporate for 15 years. Here's the short version. I was in corporate for 15 years. And look, if you Google me, you can find out all about that. On corporate, I kind of wanted to dabble in my own business. So I left corporate and I started consulting, as we all do. And I was enjoying that. Looking back, I wasn't really, but at the time I thought I was enjoying that enough. But I found that all the businesses I was working with, it didn't matter what the business was, online, offline, product, service, anywhere in the world, they all fundamentally had the same problem. If they didn't hire staff, they were never going to be able to grow. And if they didn't grow, they were never going to be able to hire staff. It was like this crevice that they just all were in. Some were in it for 10 years, others in it for a year. And the only way I could really help to work on strategy with the clients was to try to get some staff and teach them to delegate. I had a VA in the Philippines myself because I had read the 4-Hour Work Week, no other reason. And I just started getting friends of my VA to sort of help out at the time. And before I knew it, I found I was getting phone calls from friends of clients saying, can you get me one of those VAs? I'm desperate. And I just remember thinking over a weekend once, I just think is there a business in this? It was just literally like that. And I put a webinar onto the small list that I had, and I found that people were desperate for help with this problem and that I was naturally good at operations. That's kind of the whole thing. Now, obviously, we're 6 years later now. We're coming up to 200 staff. The business has grown exponentially, but it was not simple. Like it's nothing is ever linear, right? It looks amazing now, but those early days were very difficult. I made a lot of mistakes and I almost got out of the business completely, to be honest, because it was so difficult. But yeah, and I had 2 children at the same time. I'm completely mad. Please don't do what I did. I always say I have 3 children.
Many entrepreneurs go through a similar sort of journey, though. Like it's that kind of ups and downs, and you kind of just have to weather the storms and then like look forward to the good times. Basically, there is a certain makeup when you run your own business of the sort of person you have to be in order to kind of get through it.
Always up leveling, and you have to love what you do, and I ended up loving it. Actually, I ended up really finding a lot of fulfillment in helping. Some of our team have grown great careers with us, and just hearing people say how you changed their lives, and even clients like who say, I didn't know the freedom I have now because I learned to delegate. And it's not just the VA, it's the up-leveling of their mindset to say, I could still be a solopreneur, for example. We've lots of people who are consultants and coaches, and I don't need to run a huge team, but I can free myself to grow the business more and do the things I really love to do by actually learning to delegate and then having a cost-effective team member that loves to. And some of our VAs have been with our clients for 4 or 5 years.
What are some of your favorite sort of success stories that have come out of both your staff and also for your clients as well? What are some of your best wins?
Oh, lots of them. Let me have a think about this. You know what? There was one Christmas, I remember we did a sort of a voice box thing at one of our Christmas parties. This is back before COVID when you could do Christmas parties. And a couple of the team had said that they had worked in call centers because we tend not to hire people with prior experience. We prefer to hire a type and then we train them ourselves. That's the way we do it. But they had said that they had always worked in call centers their whole lives and they had never been able to take Christmas off to go back to the province and spend it with their families. Yeah. And they were like, I'm taking 2 weeks off and I'm so elated with it was just like a dream for them. And I thought, wow, that's just something we wouldn't even think about in the West, that they would all have been working on Christmas Day. And that really lit me up. And I hear those stories all the time. I hear, of how much I've changed somebody's life from building the company that we have. We're a very supportive culture. And then, on the client side, there's many stories. If you go to our website, there's actually testimonials all over the website of what people have said. But there was one in particular that sticks out in my mind. She was a solopreneur. She's in Australia, and through working with her VA and learning to delegate, she managed to, I think she traveled around Australia in a camper van while she was still working, and she ran her business from remotely, and she managed to do this and to really enjoy that. So that was very uplifting. And then we have larger companies that have built teams with us, and they've been amazing to work with. For me, that's been amazing to work with some larger companies too. So yeah.
I've always been a slight skeptic of the 4-hour work week, which you mentioned, but how realistic is it?
It's not realistic at all. I mean, look, the 4-hour work week, I think if you want to, it depends. If you've got a bit of a hobby business, maybe anyone that can run a business in 4 hours a week. Now, have I met people who could run a business part-time and a big business running it part-time? Yes, I'm one of them. I have 2 children. I'm quite hands-on with my own children. I think I work more than part-time at the moment, work 20 or 25 hours a week and cope, but the 4-hour work week, no, I think that's more of a hobby thing. You can't, I don't know. Maybe you can get somebody on the show who can refute me on that, but I don't think you can grow a business doing that.
I need Tim Ferriss to come on and refute it, but it's funny, isn't it? Tim Ferriss, who wrote the book, seems to be like the hardest working guy out there. But again, it's about the DNA makeup of an entrepreneur. We all just love what we do and we can't not work. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I love what I do as well. So, I don't think I would ever want to just retire and not do anything. I'd be bored.
It's that $10 million question. If you won the lottery and you won $10 million, what would you do? And my first answer is, why go straight to work the next day? Why would I not want to
launch a business?
I'd just be $10 million.
I'd probably launch a foundation.
Yeah,
I'd probably launch a foundation or something. I'd want to do something like that.